I wanted to go through the basic procedure of creating an sqlite3 database from an Excel file. Well, actually not from an Excel file, from a CSV file. The first step is taking an Excel file and saving it as a CSV file. You'll also need you need the number of columns, so you may as well take the column names as well. I have copied those into a text file and set it up. So here is an SQL command to set up a table called BLP_items with the correct number of column names and the data type built in. I'll copy that now because I'm going to be using it in just a second. If we have a look in the folder that we're in, that's the BLP items CSV file that I saved from LibreOffice, and we'll start up sqlite3. We'll create the table, and just to show, I have got a table there, and schema of BLP items is right there. Now I'm going to use the .import function, but first of all I have to set the separator to a comma, because the default separator is the pipe symbol. So we'll set the separator to that, and then use the import BL. I can use tab completion for the file name, but then BLP items is the table. So I'm importing that CSV file into that table. Takes a little while, and then if I select everything from BLP items, and it's a large file, so I'm just going to limit this to the first 10 lines. And there we are, we've got the data in there, but you'll notice on the first line the column headings have been imported in as the first row, so we need to deal with that. And the easiest way to deal with that is delete BLP items, where now I could delete on spelling, but there may be a word spelling in the actual list of words. So in the second column there's only a single letter representing the lexicality, so I'm going to use where lexicality equals lexicality. Notice the single quotes. It is important to use the single quotes because lexicality equals, and if I had to use the double quotes there, the column would have compared itself to itself. And I think it would have deleted everything. So when I use single quotes, that's a string, so it's looking for that string. Let me go up to my notes and find out where I've gone wrong. Delete from BLP items where lexicality is lexicality. Right, and then let's have a look at the first 10 lines again, and that line's gone. Fantastic. One thing I do want to point out here to Philip, I think I found a problem in this list, in that if I go select distinct spelling from VLP items. Okay, so I get the distinct names, but they're going through too fast for me to see how many there are. If I use the count function on distinct spelling, I get 55865. If I remove the distinct, and the distinct gives unique items, so if I just list all the spelling from VLP items, I get 55867. It looks like there is a word repeated. That would account for the two that would be the same that aren't distinct. Anyway, something to fix up in the future. Now that we've got the database, into SQLite, and there it is there. We want to save that. So I'm going to create output VLP items.sql, and I'm setting the output to that file, and then I'm dumping VLP items to that file name. And then I'm going to quit out of SQL, list to show that we now have an SQL file. Now, what an SQL file is, all the commands to create the database we had within SQL. So if I cat VLP we get at the start of that would have been the I'm going to scroll back. At the start of that would have been the create table, and then inserting all the values into the table. So it's a text format, which is great, but if we wanted to sqlite3, what I would like is a bit more of a convenient format. So I'm going to create a binary file from the SQL file. So that is using the sqlite3 program to create the database and then output it in a binary format. Takes a little while to do it. Now we have the SQL file and a DB file. The beauty of the DB file is I can start up sqlite3 with the DB file, and we have the nicely formatted file as we saved it. It can be loaded up as we start SQLite, but obviously using the database file works very nicely. Thanks. I think we're well on our way to being able to import the Excel files.